Hey y'all! Pokemon Crystal using only one Hoppip was so difficult that I'd rather walk through a field of rakes than do it again, so this week, let's try to appreciate the positives in life. In honor of Thanksgiving, we're using a pudgy bird that looks like a deformed turkey by trying to beat Pokemon Red using only one Pidgey. As usual, the rules are we can only use one Pidgey in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of these videos on my channel. Pidgey is the epitome of bland first route bird. Its final form, Pidgeot, is the definition of mediocre, and even after Game Freak gave it a Mega Evolution, it was still pretty mid. The only good thing about this evolution line is that it gave us the red-blue sprite for Pidgeotto. Dang, boy! Look at that thickness! I mean, talk about a perky turkey, hehe. Unfortunately for me though, I'm not using Pidgeotto. I'm stuck with this paltry poultry. In terms of the stats and moves, well, there's not a lot to be thankful for. Its base stats are pitifully low, averaging only 43 points each, and the move pool is non-existent. Our best flying move is Fly, and unfortunately we don't even get access to Body Slam. Outside of normal and flying moves, well, we get nothing. Hooray! Will Pidgey be the goose that lays the golden egg, or will we simply get our goose cooked? Put on your elastic waistband, heat up some leftovers, and get ready to Plymouth Rock! Alright, let's do this. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Charmander with Pidgey so their rival will pick Squirtle. By the end of the run, the rival will have a Blastoise that knows Blizzard, and that's bad news bears for Pidgey, and I happen to enjoy the struggle. Kinda like trying not to barf after seconds on Thanksgiving. Pidgey is a terrible first form bird Pokemon, and I already know that this run is going to be a hot mess, so I nickname ours Cluster Pluck. Pidgey starts off with Gust and Sand Attack, and unfortunately for us, Gust is not a flying type move in this game. It's normal type, and flying type would have really helped for the beginning of this game, which is littered with bug types, but obviously, I'm not salty. If anything, I'm sandy, since arguably, Pidgey's best move in the game is Sand Attack. We beat Bubs this time around without it, but believe me when I say that Sand Attack will be absolutely mandatory for Pidgey's moveset moving forward. So buckle your seatbelts and your pilgrim hat, cause you'll be seeing a lot of Sand Attack in this run. A perfect example of this is when we reach Brock's Rocks at the Pewter City Gym. We've gained Quick Attack along the way, but it doesn't really help here. I mean seriously, this puny pigeon does dismal damage, and with no appreciable bulk of which to speak, we get whittled down pretty quickly. Even while obnoxiously abusing Sand Attack to dodge attacks and prolong the battle, we do so little damage with our attacks that it takes absolutely forever just to knock out the Geodude. You could bake a turkey in less time than it takes to do this. Plus, at this point, it's pretty obvious that we're not going to beat Brock at this level. So I know I'm just going to have to go and grind on bugs in Viridian Forest, which takes even longer. Oh my god, before I do that though, I do make it to the Onix, but even after minimizing its accuracy, there's still no way to win. You see that we run out of Sand Attack beepy, and after that we're forced to actually attack for damage. And since for some reason Bide in this game is programmed to never miss, there's no way to avoid damage once Brock clicks Bide, and Pidgey gets completely squashed. Oh my gourd. After a bug bashing good time in the woods, Pidgey is back at level 17. We managed to take down the Geodude without losing too much health, and now it's just a matter of getting rid of this stupid Onix. I try my best to dodge taking Bide damage, and Sand Attack helps us to dodge tackles. Quick Attack moves before Bide, so I can do chip damage before Brock activates it, at which point I use Sand Attack to dodge damaging Onix within that Bide window. Oh my god, that was a mouthful! Just like a good old-fashioned Thanksgiving stuffing. Unfortunately though, I'm still running into the same issue as before, where I'm running low on Sand Attack beepy, and am forced to start attacking during the Bide window. It comes super close, with me even gambling on doing some damage during the Bide window anyways and hoping to survive the backlash, and it panned out. The extra levels were crucial here. Not only are we doing more damage, but the extra health we have lets us get off more attacks before Bide can take us down. Whew, alright, let's move on. Enough of that gobbledygook. After traversing Mount Moon, I make it to Cerulean City, only to immediately realize that Pidgey is too weak to do anything. We're level 21 by the time we reach the rival Bubs, but being a higher level than his Pidgeotto doesn't matter when it's got much better stats. Dang, dude, Pidgeotto's got that thickness. And when it comes to fat turkeys, you know I'm all about that baste. I tried this battle many times and never once got past the Pidgeotto, so there's only one thing left to do. Grab some extra levels and try again. And this time, I managed to make it past the Pidgeotto just fine, and the rest of Bubs' Pokemon end up being, well, relatively easy pickings. So what changed so drastically? Was it that single extra level? No! The game just decided to waste turns using Whirlwind, meaning we could have done this fine before if only the bulbous bird had used less sand attacks and more Whirlwinds. What I'm trying to say is that this whole endeavor has been pointlessly random. And unfortunately, there's gonna be a ton of these Pidge-on-Pidge face-offs throughout the run. Or as I like to call them, gobble squabbles. Alrighty then, now that I've got that behind me, I head to the Cerulean City Gym to take on the Water-type gym leader, Misty. Hey, check out this cool magic trick that Misty does. She's going to make our Pidgey disappear. Ooh. Well, I battled every trainer I could find for experience, but still couldn't beat Misty, so I head to the SS Anne for another battle with the rival Bubs. And this battle is the point in the run where I start to feel like a cruel trick is being played upon me. Once again, I struggle immensely here to get past the Pidgeotto without taking at least one sand attack, and we lack the bulk to take its hits while missing our own. It takes a dozen or so resets before we manage to get through Bubs' team, again mostly by luck, since Bubs' Wartortle picked the absolute worst attacks possible. Oh, these mirror matches are killing me. Every time I have to fight Pidgeotto, I want to carve my eyes out like a Thanksgiving turkey. Speaking of cutting things, I'm at the point now where I have to beat Misty in order to use Cut and progress through the story. So the funny thing about Pidgey is that its special is actually its worst base stat, and Misty Starfish have high special. Oh yeah, and they also have high critical hit ratios because of their high base speed. And I can get close to knocking out the Starmie, but it's tough when she's constantly getting critical hits or spamming X-Defense to make our already pitiful attacks do even less damage. So I spend all of our money on items we'll need anyways, and then I repeatedly challenge Misty without resetting the losses, which lets me keep experience from knocking out Staryu during each attempt, with the downside of course being that we lose money each time. At level 32, I finally get a huge critical hit on the Starmie, and we're able to knock it out for the win. Yay! Just goes to show you that with enough perseverance, a little bit of luck may flower into a win. While traveling through Rock Tunnel on our way to Lavender Town, we have to take on this mandatory hiker. And you might remember him from your childhood as the trainer whose entire team uses self-destruct. That's not even including the fact that his Pokemon know Rock Throw, which isn't accurate, but when it hits hard. I'm worried this is going to be a huge roadblock, but there is a strategy here. Use Sand Attack and reset the battle until the hiker misses his self-destructs. Haha! Feast your eyes on that! After making it through Rock Tunnel, I decide to take the easy win at the Celadon City Gym against Erica's Grass-type Pokemon. We finally have access to the move Fly, although we can't use it outside of battle without Lieutenant Surge's badge. This battle was the first easy battle that we've had since the first rival fight in Professor Oak's lab. And it's not that important except for the move that we learned during battle. At level 36, Pidgey learns Agility, which is not only great for boosting our speed, but will come in handy for additional badge boosts. And yes, once again, we're using badge boosts. To those of you saying that, oh, that's all these challenges boil down to, shut up. I don't have a problem, okay? In fact, I can quit whenever I want. Cold turkey. Our Pidgey is finally a high enough level that I think we can take on Lieutenant Surge. I mean, really, I'm just interested in getting the ability to use Fly outside of battle because going everywhere on foot is really annoying. What am I, Frodo Baggins? As for the battle, Pidgey is no Lord of the Eagles. Surge's Pokemon get several chances to attack, and his Raichu usually smashes us with Thunderbolt harder than one of those high school egg drop experiments. On the attempt where we finally won, Surge doesn't use Thunderbolt, and while we get paralyzed by Thundershock, which reduces our speed, we move first to knock out the Fat Rat thanks to Quick Attack's increased priority. Wow, that's probably the first time Quick Attack has come in clutch like that during one of these runs. And it's about time our egg finally remained intact. After all, this was all starting to feel like some sort of sick cosmic yoke. Now that we finally have the power of flight, we soar right past the land of Mordor to arrive at Lavender Town to take on the rival Bubs once again. Remember before when I mentioned badge boost being a thing? Well, it comes into play here. I quickly knock out the Pidgeotto thanks mostly in part to our level advantage and strong same type attack boosted fly, thank god for that. Then comes out the Growlithe. It mostly spams Roar and Leer, letting me set up 3 agilities. This not only boosts our speed thanks to the effective agility, but every time your stats are modified during battle in this game, the stat boosts from your badges are reapplied. So each agility we use and each Leer the Growlithe lands boost our attack and defense thanks to the Boulder and Thunder badges respectively. With these extra boosts to attack, our best option is to spam the move Fly, which makes me imagine a flock of fat feathered Pidgeys raining down tactical turkey talons from above. Or as I like to call it, a gizzard blizzard. The next battle on the other hand is a royal pain in the tuchus, and surprisingly it's Giovanni of all trainers. He's normally the butt of jokes in these videos, but Pidgey is the perfect combination of suckage to actually make this one pretty bad. Our best bet is to once again spam Sand Attack and hope to dodge, but even then, Giovanni uses guard specs to prevent us from lowering his accuracy further. Between super effective rock throws from Onix and super strong bites and common punches from Kangaskhan, there's more damage to be taken than stuffing to be eaten. And with their resistances to normal and flying, there's not a lot of damage to be dealt to the rock types. Even after using agility to badge boost our attack and defense, I had to reset this battle so many times. This was like Brock 2.0. And in fact, this battle was even harder than not gaining weight over the holidays. And after that horrifying experience, I head down Cycling Path to take on the Fuchsia City gym leader Koga and his posse of poison pollutants. His usual tactics of accuracy and evasion shenanigans don't matter this time though, since I taught Pidgey the TM for Swift, which, much like Taylor Swift's albums, never misses. After agility badge boost, Koga's Coughings are a 2-hit KO, but the Muck disables our Fly, which is crucial to defeating the Weezing. So by the time I get to that venomous Lummox, we're at half health, and we get poisoned by Sludge. I can't use Fly to dodge self-destruct, so I start spamming Sand Attack and hoping for the best. Weezing instead lands several Sludges and then finally goes for the Boom, just as we're about to faint to poison damage. And just in the nick of time, like opening the microwave right when the timer hits 0 so it doesn't beep. It really is the gravy on top. After beating Koga, it's time for yet another painful rival battle with Bubs in the Sylph Company building in Saffron City. Oh, this battle might not look hard, but oh my god, it took so many tries to win. With Badge Boost, Pidgey's Fly can usually 2-hit KO his Pokemon, but his lead Pidgeot likes to spam Sand Attack just like us. Hooray! So most battles, I don't make it past the Pidgeot without having our accuracy completely wrecked, and the badge boosts we get from having our accuracy lowered do not make Swift do enough damage for it to be worth it. I eventually win this one, when I get a decent Pidgeot face-off and only take a single Sand Attack. I mean, it also helps that agility lets us outspeed Alakazam. And if Blastoise had better special moves, this could have been even worse. But since it doesn't quite yet, we're able to have ourselves a delicious helping of turtle soup. Just in time for Thanksgiving. Wait, did the Pilgrims have turtle soup? I don't know. I'm not a historian, I'm just an idiot. And surprisingly, the Sylph Company Giovanni fight was yet another frustrating affair. Despite having one less rock-type Pokemon, he now has a Nidoqueen that knows Body Slam and hits pretty hard. The strategy here is to knock out the Nidorino as quickly as possible, and then hope for the Kangaskhan to lock itself into Rage, which is a weak base 20 power move that increases in power every time the user gets hit with an attack, but they can no longer switch out or use a different move. It's the perfect opportunity for Pidgey to set up agilities for badge boosts, and Sand Attack helps us to avoid unnecessary damage. I mean, that part's easy enough, but I often lose to the Rhyhorn stomping our lights out before we can get enough Sand Attacks. Even when I do get past the Rhyhorn, the Nidoqueen is tough as nails, and I usually faint to Body Slam. I reset repeatedly until an attempt where our Fly turns align perfectly so that Giovanni uses a guard spec during our vulnerable phase, and we manage to knock him out with only 4 HP left. I mean, it's not exactly carving up the competition, but it'll do. Since we're already in town, I decide to pay a visit to the Saffron City psychic soothsayer Sabrina. I wanted to beat Blaine beforehand to get the Volcano badge, which grants the badge boost to special, but that didn't go very well. So, here we are. Her Kadabra can 1-hit KO Pidgey with Psychic, so I gotta take that thing out as quickly as possible. I need at least 1 agility in order to outspeed the Alakazam, and the Mr. Mime is the best time to get it. Thankfully, Mr. Mime has a high chance of not using a damaging attack, and Venomoth has Stun Spore, so that's not good. Even with all of our boosts, the Alakazam will survive Fly, so we need it to not actually attack. I lost a couple times to Alakazam repeatedly recovering, but a Reflect when it's already in range of a Swift is great to see. I had to reset this one a ton, since unfortunately, Fly being a 2-turn move gives Alakazam opportunities to rake us over the coals. Oh man, I need a day off. Oh, hey, it's Thanksgiving. It is a paid day off. And after beating Sabrina, I head to the Cinnabar Island gym for what was not the hardest gym battle in the run, but it was definitely the most surprisingly difficult gym battle. Blaine's Growlithe is usually easy fodder for badge boosting, but we're weak enough that after a Tail Whip or Leer or two, that Rapidash's Stomp will actually take us down. Even with stacks of additional badge boost, Pidgey is just heartbreakingly weak. The worst part of this whole process is the dang Arcanine, which repeatedly knocks us out with Takedown and Fire Blast. Eventually though, I managed to get an attempt where things are looking pretty good to take out the Arcanine. A Fire Blast misses while we're in the air, and then another misses when we land. Then we take a massive takedown, and just barely manage to survive an Ember, but receive a very unfortunate burn. Arcanine's burnt the turkey, but dinner isn't ruined quite yet. We have to knock it out on this turn, or we lose. And thankfully, Swift is barely strong enough to make that happen. Oh man, what a relief. Talk about impeccable timing. Now it's time for the final showdown with Giovanni for our final gym badge. This battle was surreptitiously easy. I had absolutely no luck and was stuck until I remembered that Dugtrio has Dig. Oh yeah, duh, I teach the TM for Mimic and then it's game over. We flip this battle from hard to easy, going all topsy-turkey. I'm easily able to set a badge boost against the Rhyhorn, who even helps us by lowering our defense twice for extra badge boosts. After that, we just need to take a slash from Dugtrio as we mimic the move Dig. But wait, your defense is halved. Aren't you worried about Slash? No, cause remember that unlike in future installments of these games, critical hits in this game ignore all stat modifiers, including the ones that would benefit the user, so Slash doesn't even do half of our health. With 5 badge boost and Dig, we 1-hit KO Dugtrio, Nidoqueen, and Nidoking, but we level up before the Rhydon, which does remove our additional badge boosts. But Rhydon can't touch us though, so it's a simple matter of digging until the metamorphic Mook gets knocked out. And now we finally have 8 badges, but before we can take on the Elite Four, we have to battle the rival Bubs once again. But don't despair, things are different this time. He starts off with the Pidgeot, so that's just great. Another dreaded mirror match, and after all the heartache this man has put me through, I just can't even. For this mirror match, I take a page out of Michael Jackson's book and start with the man in the mirror and ask Bubs to change his ways. And somehow that actually worked, and Bubs finally got rid of Sand Attack on his Pidgeot. Hooray! It's a Michael Jackson miracle. And honestly, I'm feeling touched. Yeah, I know that's an old and hacky joke, but I wasn't doing comedy videos 15 years ago, so cut me some slack. I'm able to set up against the Pidgeot just fine, but take a ton of damage from Rhyhorn, so I hope to use Mimic to copy recover from Alakazam to heal before facing the Blastoise, and as you can see, that is easier said than done. Oh boy. So I grab a few more levels and keep trying, but somehow I seem to be doing worse? I'm not going to try to make sense out of this, I'm just going to keep trying. Monkey brain click button till Bubs go burr. That's what it feels like at least. Okay, eventually, I reach level 60 and we're consistently getting to the Blastoise, but usually with several defense drops and low enough health where its bite takes us down. On this attempt though, I'm on a tear. We mimicked recover from Alakazam, which we used to heal back damage and avoid getting knocked out by Bite. Our special got lowered by Psychic though, but we skillfully dodge a Hydro Pump. But we miss a Fly, allowing Blastoise to raise its defense with Withdraw, and then Bubs makes a crucial error. He clicks Skull Bash, which is a pretty awful 2-turn normal type attack that only has 80 base power, and I use the charge turn to dodge with Fly. I mean seriously Bubs, at that rate you'd be better off teaching your turtle strength. I mean, that move's all meat no filler, or as I like to call it, nothing but the stuffin'. Alright, with that behind us, here are the stats and moves going into the Elite Four. Pidgey is level 60, and those stats are on a whole nother level of crap. I went ahead and maxed out my flying Beepy since it's our only way to do damage. Too many times I've run out of Beepy during the battle, and that's just, well, embarrassing. Up first is the Ice-type Elite Four member Lorelei, and if you thought the rest of this challenge run was bad, oh boy, you ain't seen nothing yet. Her lead dugong is like the Fortress of Helm's Deep, an impenetrable wall of disappointment. There's Growl, which lowers our attack, and requires an immediate reset, and also Aurora Beam, which does most of our health and also has a chance to lower our attack, which again, requires an immediate reset. No amount of sand attacks in the world is going to make up for the fact that Pidgey is simply far too weak for this. Our turkey gets hit hard and crumbles, ending up dead like bread, or as I like to call it, getting pills buried. After 10 additional levels, okay, check this out. Nothing's changed. Pidgey is still terrible and I feel bad about it. And even with the extra stats, I'm not making any progress. And to add insult to injury, Dugong lands a critical hit just to rub salt into the wound. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in Pidgey, and I'm disappointed in Thanksgiving. I just can't seem to get on a casserole. Okay, let's try this again. Level 75. Woo! We get to witness a man slowly going insane. Notice how in his natural habitat he seems to get a pointless critical hit to falsely boost his confidence, only for Sand Attack to have seemingly no effect upon Dugong's accuracy whatsoever. Hoo-hoo! Ha-ha! Loving every minute of it! Ah! No amount of Thanksgiving buttons will make me feel better. Oh, I just squant to be done with this already. Okay, at this point, I've got nothing snarky to say. Look at the screen. Look at the level we're at. Look at my newly formed bald patches from me ripping my own friggin' hair out. Things have been looking pill grim, but then, suddenly, there's hope. After an absolutely perfect setup against Dugong where we somehow managed to avoid taking damage, the Cloister goes down, having only hit a single Aurora Beam with no additional attack drop. That all goes to crap though very soon. I use Mimic to copy Amnesia from Slowbro to raise our special while badge boosting the rest of our stats. But in the process we take 2 Growls, which essentially halves our attack stat. I mean, couple that with Slowbro boosting its defense with Withdraw, and it's a good thing I maximized my BP. It's getting dangerously small, and I don't want to embarrass myself in front of Lorelei any more than I already have, if you know what I'm saying. I swear it's just the cold from all the ice moves. My BP is usually much bigger than this. Somehow though, I managed to make it past the Lapras, and despite some massive blizzards, we win the battle at the very last second, thanks entirely to a miraculous critical hit. Pidgey! Oh, Pidgey! Thank you, Pidgey! Time to give thanks for the fact that unlike the week after Thanksgiving, Lapras' HP doesn't have any leftovers. I have never in my entire life been so frustrated with a Lorelei battle as that experience just made me. There have been some friggin' stinkers in the past, oh yes Little Missy, you can bet your Tuesday gumball money on that, but none of them quite as bad. There were other Pokemon that came close, for sure, but all of those Pokemon at least had a decent move like Body Slam. None of them had to use a 2-turn mediocre flying move that has an almost comical habit of missing at exactly the worst moment possible. Pidgey, in the words of the early 2000s rock band 3 Days Grace, I hate everything about you. Oh yeah, also, I beat Bruno. After that incredibly insightful commentary about the battle with Bruno, it's time to take on Agatha. It is notoriously difficult to garner badge boost against her because her Golbat likes to switch in and use Haze to remove all of our stat modifications, including the badge boost that the game kinda intended for you to have. This makes it difficult to get the ball rolling and knock out her Pokemon before being statused or just straight up knocked out. On 2 separate occasions, I get our agility badge boost only for Golbat to immediately remove them. Come on, don't haze me, bro! On the 3rd attempt to badge boost with agility, we get sniped by a critical hit bite from the Arbok. Dang. I guess it's not every day that you get knocked out by Arbok. Oh boy, Pidgey, you really do suck. Surprisingly though, on the very next attempt, I managed to get right back to the Arbok and take it out. And with plenty of badge boosts in hand, we're able to stay long enough to make her Pokemon die. And to those of you saying, actually, Pokemon don't die, they faint. Oh, shut your butt. Next up is the final Elite Four member Lance, the Dragon Master. Although, I think Pidgey should gain that title, since it's mastered the art of dragging out every single battle. Well, you know the drill, people. Use a Sand Attack, get hit by Hyper Beam anyways, use an agility, and then get by Hydro Pump. Anyways, great. Okay, one more time, y'all. This time we're gonna set up agilities against the Dragonair. It goes for a couple of Hyper Beams, and once we've got our boost, I mimic Hyper Beam. Now it's game over. Hyper Beam is not only the strongest move in the game that doesn't make you faint, but it is a normal type move, so Pidgey gets the same type attack boost. Also remember that in this game only, Hyper Beam skips the recharge turn if it knocks out a Pokemon. With this, Pidgey is free to go ham bananas on the majority of Lance's Pokemon. Corn, you believe it? That's amazing! Okay, I'm sorry. The only thing harder than beating this game with Pidgey is coming up with Thanksgiving puns. Finally, we've reached the final battle with Champion Bubs. I used the last of our rare candies to reset our experience so that we don't level up during the battle and lose our badge boost as a result. I also make sure to maximize my BP. I don't want to embarrass myself again like what happened in front of Lorelei earlier. I head straight into the battle, and now is the time to release all of my pent-up rage. I throw caution to the wind and spitefully spam Sand Attack against Bubs' Pidgeot. I don't think this is the optimal strategy, but god does it feel good. Once I'm all boosted up, I use Fly to dodge a Sky Attack, because knowing my luck, it would still hit through -6 accuracy and probably critical hit. That wasn't the misfortune I should have been worried about, oh no. Alakazam goes down in a single fly, but then Rhydon takes 15 forevers to faint to fly, with Bubs wasting everyone's time by going for a full restore. Heck, at least he had enough sense to upgrade from his usual potions, but I don't appreciate it. In the long and arduous process of taking down Rhydon, we are handed 2 defense drops, and speaking of taking down, Arcanine lands a takedown that would have knocked us out had it not been a critical hit, which ignored our defense drops. I mean, what are the chances? Exeggutor goes down in a single fly, and it all comes down to the Blastoise. Fly does over half of its health, but Blastoise lands a massive blizzard that Pidgey only survives thanks to the badge boost to special that we got from the 2 extra defense drops that Rhydon gave us. It's honestly beautiful. Perfect. Like poultry in motion. And with that, the challenge is over. For a Pokemon for which I had 0 preconceptions, Pidgey was alarmingly bad. This whole experience was worse than eating dry turkey while making small talk with your weird cousin that thinks he's a vampire. This challenge was absolutely devastating. And I think, really, I just need some time to process and eventually cornucopia with what just happened. Well, as always, I want to thank you all for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, mostly, but also a lot of work, entirely. So I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can check out the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos as well. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And if you want early access to these videos and to have your name listed in the credits, consider becoming a member or joining on Patreon. And let me know in the comments what the Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Next week, I'm kicking off another month of holiday winter specials. I'm going to try beating Pokemon Crystal using only one Pineco. Time to grab some Thanksgiving leftovers. After all, I'm feeling quite peckish. Until next time,